Hello viewer, welcome back to 54A. Upcycling. Steve Twydell, Woodturnings. He's done a couple of upcycling things, and I said I'd like to have a go if I can find something. So I've been able to look around the old charity shops. Lots of charity shops, but not a lot of wooden objects that I can make something out of. But I did find this chopping board. It's bamboo apparently, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to turn it. It was only a few pence, so I'm going to have a go. There's not a lot I can do with it, it's not that thick. I'm going to have a go at turning it into an economy bowl. So what I've done so far, I've marked out the rings that I shall cut out on my bandsaw. Now these end pieces I'm going to cut off on the table saw and just use the dark wood in the middle. However, I'm not going to throw this away. I may be able to cut it into small segments for a rim around the top of the bowl. I don't know yet, we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to try just using this wood and nothing else. So the first job is cut these ends off on my table saw. Then I've got to put a thin bandsaw blade on. So as you can see at the moment, I've got the 13mm one on, which is no good for going round in circles. So I'm going to put the 6mm one on. So once I've done all that, I'll get back to you. Just one more thing before I start. Once I've cut these ends off, I'm going to cut the whole thing right down the centre. Then I can cut semicircles out on the bandsaw without having to sort of drill in and put slots in it everywhere. So I'll end up with some semicircles which I'll just glue back together into circles once I've attached it. Right, change the blade over to the 6mm one, a nice new one as well. I've sloped the bed, it's about 35 degrees, something like that. I'm not too fussy about the angle, as long as there is one. And now I'm going to cut these semicircles out, hopefully. It's cutting into this, I've noticed it's, I can show you, I don't know if you can pick it up on here. It's 3 layers laminated anyway, so I might be in trouble here. We'll see how it goes. Well, it does cut extremely easily, so I'll carry on and do the rest and show you the next stage. Right, I've got all the pieces cut out. It cut very easily. You haven't got to be too accurate, I just drew the lines as a guide really. So the next stage is to glue each half back together again. So once you've done that and that, etc., then we start stacking it. So I'll get on with the gluing. Well, I've got the rings gluing together now, and you may remember the 2 end pieces off that board. I want to use these as well. I want to use as much of the original wood as possible, which is the whole idea of upcycling really. So what I've done is, as you can see, I've cut some little wedges. I've only used the one strip so far. I'm going to cut this. I wouldn't have had enough to do the wedges that thick, so I've had to cut the board right down the middle and make some wedges that size. Now even that isn't quite big enough for the top of the bowl, so I've left a slight gap in each one. Now the offcuts from when I did the circles, I'm going to cut some strips. I might get a couple of strips out of here and just make some little infills to go in between each of the wedges. That should give me the circumference I need for the top of the bowl. So that's the next stage, and then that will be just about all the wood off the original cutting board, as much as I can possibly use anyway. I may have to rethink the base. It might be wide enough, I don't know, we'll see. See you later. Right, I've got the segmented ring with the little inserts all clamped up now, so I'll put that to one side for a few hours, or maybe even till tomorrow. It's pretty cold at this time of year, so the glue's taking a lot longer to go off. Now then, to start assembling the bowl, I'm going to have to be very careful here. You can see that pencil mark up there and there. That's where the next ring comes to, so it's not leaving me a lot of room to turn the thing down really. I should have gone at a bit more angle on the bandsaw, but I'm going to carry on. It should be enough as long as I'm careful on the lathe. The joints I'm staggering at 90 degrees to give it a bit of extra strength as well. So I'm going to glue those up, stack them up like so, like that, and that'll be the bowl basically assembled. So more gluing. Right, I've got it mounted in the button jaws, cold jaws, whatever you'd like to call them. I don't like this mounting very much, to be honest, but I've got to get a mortise in the end here. So here we go. Go a bit lower. I'm putting extremely light strokes on this. I don't want to put any pressure, unwanted pressure at all on this. So it might take a bit of time to get that out. So I'll get back to you when I've dug it out. Okay, I've got the small precision chuck in now with the dovetail jaws in expansion mode. I have spun it and it seems to be okay. It weighs next to nothing, this stuff, so hopefully it'll be alright. So now to get a bit of shape on here, I can't do anything really special with it, but I'll give it a go. Doesn't seem to be turning too bad. I'm just going for balance at the moment, more than any shape. It's not too far out, but I've just got to go around this outside edge a bit more. Now that did seem to move a bit then. I'll just check everything's still nice and tight. Yeah, I've just got to really finely touch this edge here. Sorry about the camera angle to start with, you couldn't really see what I was doing, but you haven't missed much. I've got it round and balanced now. Still some more got to come off, but at least it's not going to wobble around all over the place. So I'll just carry on now, very gentle strokes, just trying to get a nice sweeping shape along the back here. Well, I'm nearly done. I'm just putting a little bit more shape on the foot here. I'm using the 10mm carbide cutter, round carbide cutter, to finish off. It has been a right swine to do this. I've got a little bit more to do around this edge, but nearly done. Yeah, still a little bit to do around the foot. I don't want to go too narrow because of the shape of it. Tiny little bits to do now. It's a very brittle material to work with. Well, that's about as far as I dare go now, so I'm going to give it a good sanding and show you what the finished product looks like. Well, there it is, a little bowl from a bamboo chopping board. It's not the best finish in the world, but it is an upcycle. It was one thing, it's now something else. It hasn't turned out too bad. I would never ever try this bamboo again. It's so brittle. I think the next time I try an upcycle challenge, I'll look for something that's made out of real wood instead of panda food, basically. But I give it a go. It's sort of worked. Now I'm going to go around the charity shops and have a look for something else. It's a great idea, something that's got another lease of life, and I think the best thing I can do with this is donate it to the charity shop that I got the board from in the first place. They can resell this then, so they're getting 2 lots of money off one item. So every little helps, doesn't it? So that's it, viewer. My upcycle challenge. complete. See you soon. Bye now.